This is Trump's Easter message for the world. I'm fairly certain this is not what Jesus had in mind. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one, Iran. Yeah, that is a war crime. Going after civilian infrastructure is a war crime. Again, not the best Easter message. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Praise be to Allah. Christians, how are you feeling about that? Oh, do you also know that Allah is just the Arabic word for God? It's not a different deity. Did you know that? The more you know, right? I'm so glad you learned something today. But that right there was posted on Donald Trump's Truth Social on Easter Sunday morning, letting everyone know that as of Tuesday, he's going to just obliterate Iran back into the Stone Ages, as both he and Pete Hegseth have repeatedly said. He also said that's where they belong, and I wonder why he would say he thinks they belong there. Oh, wait, they don't look like a piece of Wonder Bread like me.
This is his Easter message? Like, what is this unhinged nonsense? I know, we should not be surprised by this. Nobody has a right to be surprised by what this president posts. Just when we think it can't get any worse. Yes, 77 million people voted for him. And many of those people regret it. And the rest of us, we know how unhinged he is. We know how dangerous he is to the entire world. We are living through it in real time right now. I'm afraid to say that it couldn't possibly be any worse because we all know that it could be. Sadly, this is likely just the tip of the iceberg.
And folks, notice how he says remember, because this is what, the third, fourth time he shifted his deadline on Iran. They keep catching his bluff. Every single time Donald Trump says they have 48 hours to make a deal or 5 days to make a deal. Well, that deadline comes around and then Donald Trump extends said deadline. He is begging Iran for an off-ramp right now as more U.S. service members are getting shot and killed and many more civilians are dying in a war that is doing nothing for anybody.
Let's check in with some Trump supporters and let's hear what they think of him tweeting that Easter post and generally overall. Let's check in.
I voted for Trump.
Yeah, I campaigned for Trump.
It was
a lot.
When I look back on it, I was sold a straight lie.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want no wars. I believe in Christ teaching peace and love and loving your neighbor. And in one breath on Easter Sunday, we have pastors claiming similarity from Trump to Christ in regards to the beatings and the lies. And then the next day, he's threatening to blow up power plants and bridges, hurting civilians. Like literally the most disgusting evil in a tweet I've ever read.
I totally agree.
From a president. And I'm like, wait, but our Christian leaders are still going to try to protect that and justify that.
How dare they?
So if you notice, the people with money, they don't support Trump. It's just the broke people who are on disability, the broke farmers, the blue collar workers. I can't tell you how many poor people support Trump and the low educated states. Am I wrong? Are the Trump supporters that you know that still support him, are they uneducated and broke? Drop your comments below.
Hi you all, welcome back. My name is Kola and I don't even know where to start with this one. So imagine waking up on Easter morning, a day that's literally about peace and reflection and faith. And then, boom, Donald Trump jumps online in chaotic messages we've never seen in a while. And he's out here telling Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz and not just asking. No, he's using straight up insults, he's swearing, and he's calling them names and basically saying, do it or you'll be living in hell. But let's watch how people are reacting to this, and then we're going to come back with a full commentary at the end of the video.
The President of the United States. Open the fucking straits, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. And then he says, Happy Easter. The message of this, no matter what you believe, and you do not have to believe in anything bigger than virtue for this to be a guiding principle, is rebirth and renewal. Boy, oh boy, I don't think the president has any inclination to embrace that by everything we've seen and heard. But we do. Stop rewarding what takes us to a worse place. We all know right and wrong, and we all know we are way too into right versus left. Get out of Iran. Fix America first. Start acting like someone who has power and has purpose and has dignity. And maybe if each of us do it with one another, those in power will see that that's what gets rewarded. Because this is just, we need rebirth and renewal. And I wish you it, and I wish me it, and I wish us it. Because we ain't gonna get it given to us. We gotta make it happen. Let's get after it. Happy Easter.
Following Trump's abhorrent tweet on Easter Sunday, I watched yet again many evangelical Christians repeat their favorite line. I don't always like how he acts, but it's funny how God uses broken people. Now let's get at this. First, God didn't do this. They did. God didn't vote. God didn't platform. God didn't excuse. They did. And that language, God is using him, that's not neutral. That's offloading responsibility. Because if God is orchestrating it, they don't have to wrestle with their complicity in it. But that's not faith. That's avoidance dressed up as spirituality. They chose this because they wanted this. And now that it's being called out for what it is, they're putting it on God. That's how you bypass repentance. No reflection, no ownership, no reckoning. Just, God's doing something. No, God will not be a scapegoat for their reckless decisions. And until they name their role in what they've supported, there will be no transformation, only justification. Second thought. Oppressors love this idea because once you say God uses broken people, accountability feels like interference with God. So critique becomes disobedience. Victims become obstacles. Accountability becomes rebellion, and the oppression continues. But the prophets never said, God is using you, carry on. They said, change, or there will be consequences. We must be honest. This phrase is just another way to keep doing abhorrent things and still claim moral cover. A way to avoid accountability and still feel justified. Third and final thought. The reason they keep excusing this is because it doesn't feel wrong to them. That's why they defend it. That's why they explain it away. That's why they keep making room for it. Because when they see it in him, it doesn't confront them. It confirms them. Now, they may clean it up, spiritualize it, sanitize it, not say it quite like him, but the impulse, the hunger for power, the instinct to dominate, the refusal to answer for it, it's familiar. So they don't reject it, they identify with it. Because what they excuse in others, they are excusing in themselves. The reason they defend it is because it's been living in them long before they saw it in him. So stop putting this on God. This isn't God's will. This is your will.
Trump's Easter brunch speech is one of the most revealing speeches in his presidency. There isn't one group of people who wasn't disparaged, dehumanized, mocked, or dismissed. And this is an important conversation for the deconstructing Christian because this is all about Christianity. Even Caroline Leavitt wasn't safe during that speech. The woman, he said, whose lips move like a machine gun. He said that Caroline was doing a poor job because of the 93 to 97% negative media coverage that he's receiving. During that speech, Trump said the government is not going to pay for Medicaid, Medicare, child care, and its only job is to fund the military. If that isn't terrifying enough, this speech was openly racist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, and ableist. If I can ever figure out how to do a reaction video, this is the video that I will do it to. That's how important I think this speech is. But for today, I want to focus on this, because what is clear now is that your vote for Trump will not save you, even if you are white, but also even if you're a Christian. Because Donald Trump is the front man for a cabal of Christians whose beliefs are so extremist and radicalized that having faith in Jesus or believing the Bible is inerrant, infallible, all the good things that Christians are taught to believe if they want to be viewed as the good Christian on that side of Christianity, none of that is enough. This wasn't just one of his run-of-the-mill, awkward, rambling speeches that's full of ego and nonsense. This speech was held in a room filled with pastors who sat there and absorbed everything he said as if it was normal. These are the pastors who believe that Project 2025 is the gateway to end times. These are the pastors who believe that your grandmother should not receive her Medicare. Look at the through line to what Senator Tommy Tuberville said in 2024 when he said that Social Security was all a scam. We don't have any of your money. We're dead broke. Now here in 2026, Donald Trump openly states that it is not possible for the U.S. to pay for Medicare, Medicaid, and daycare, and to shift all the federal funding to military protection. I encourage you to go watch that video, but what I want to focus on today is what he said about.
So people living in the United States are now starting to feel the effects of the war in Iran, and I'm here to explain to you how. So we saw Donald Trump over Easter weekend make a pretty belligerent post on social media telling Iran to open the strait or face consequences. I will explain what the strait is in just a second. He was threatening to bomb civilian infrastructure if they don't reopen it, which, by the way, I told y'all this was going to happen. Back in June of 2025, I said Iran will likely move to close the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, go ahead and run the clip.
Iran could block or disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. This is where 20% of global oil passes.
Now let's actually talk about what this means, because a lot of Americans are confused and this is bigger than people realize. First, what even is the Strait of Hormuz? It is a narrow waterway between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula, and it's one of the most important choke points in the world. And a choke point is essentially a narrow route that a huge amount of global trade has to pass through. So if one country like Iran controls it, they can slow it down, restrict it, or shut it off completely. And that gives them leverage over the entire global economy. About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through that one strip of water. So when Iran threatens or actually moves to close it, they're not just making a regional decision, they're affecting the globe. Okay. Now we're going to talk about why Iran would do this. So from their perspective, this is leverage. Okay. Iran has been dealing with heavy U.S. sanctions, military pressure, ongoing regional tension for years. So closing or even threatening to close the strait is a way of saying, okay, if you want to economically strangle us, I'm going to economically strangle everybody, okay? So now let's talk about why Donald Trump is reacting the way that he is, because this hits the U.S. where it actually hurts. Oil prices go up, gas prices go up, shipping costs go up, inflation goes up. And here's the part that people aren't connecting. Trump literally campaigned on lowering the prices of everything, especially gas. That was one of his biggest selling points. But now his decision to escalate both a physical and economic conflict with Iran is doing the exact opposite. It's driving the prices up. So even if the United States, which I'm hearing this a lot, the United States doesn't even get most of its oil directly from that region anymore, the global market still does. We are a part of that market. Oil is priced globally. So if the supply gets disrupted anywhere in the world, not even our direct supply, prices go up everywhere, because countries that do get it from the Strait of Hormuz, they rely on that region. They start competing for other sources, and that drives the prices up across the board, including here. So when he's saying open the strait, he's not just being dramatic. He's reacting to the fact that this move can destabilize the global energy markets fast. And this is also a part of a larger pattern of economic warfare, not just bombs, not just troops, but sanctions, trade restrictions, and control over resources. So when people ask, why would Iran do this? The better question really is, when a country is pushed economically and politically for years, how do things escalate? Global conflicts escalate, and it's not always with immediate war. Sometimes it's pressure points like this. And if this continues, you are going to feel it at the gas pump, at the grocery store, in everyday prices. This is what global politics actually looks like. Not just speeches, not just elections and voting and decisions. This will ripple into your daily life.
Now, what really threw people off is that in the same message, he randomly says, "Praise be to Allah." Like, wait, it's on Easter, and you go ahead and say praise be to Allah, and you're doing it aggressively, and you're threatening war, and you're insulting people, and then suddenly you're dropping religious phrases on a Christian holiday. It just feels so off, and people literally noticed. And a lot of reactions online were so wild, and people felt like it was so disrespectful to Christians, and some felt like this was mocking Muslims. And what is even and him mocking and not taking it seriously, whatever is going on in the country. Even politicians and critics were calling it embarrassing, coming from a president, and it felt so reckless and dangerous. Because let's be real, this isn't just some random tweet a president would tweet. This is a world leader talking about potentially bombing infrastructure, power plants, bridges, and that's a serious offense. So the tone he used, it didn't feel diplomatic at all. It felt like anger, like frustration, like someone just typing without thinking. This is a president we're talking about, and that's why people are reacting the way they are. Some people are laughing, turning it to memes, but it's crazy offensive. And people are worried, and they're like, are we about to see things escalate again just because you are in your moods? Because the Strait of Hormuz isn't just any place. It's literally one of the most important oil routes in the world. If that gets blocked or controlled, fuel prices might go crazy globally, and we're already feeling it everywhere. This thing is affecting every country globally, and we're all connected, whether we like it or not. But I want to know what you guys think about this. And finally, credit goes to the respective owners of the clips and content used in my video. Your thoughts and perspective made today's work possible. And if you loved today's video and you would want to see more of this, ensure you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video widely. Remember, it helps the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.